Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Santa's Workshop. Today's video is going to be chaotic, to say the least. I am getting down to the last few things that we need to do. Wiring is one of them. That's going to be a big one. But I also got to get brakes in. I got to get the steering column in. Wiring. I just said wiring. I'm going to go ahead and throw that in. I got to get everything done over there. I got all the brackets and everything that go under the dash that's usually not painted. These things are usually just bare metal, rusted all to pieces. I got them painted up, ready to go in. I even went as far as to take apart the throttle pedal and paint it. Took the pin out. That was really corroded, cleaned it up good. Nice movement there. As you can see, that pivots really well. All of that's been cleaned, polished out. Good as new. So, what I'm going to do now is we're going to get the car in the air. I'm going to go ahead and fill up the oil filter, get it screwed on. I'm going to get the starter on. We're going to go ahead and fill this thing with oil. We're going to get it primed. I'll show you how to prime it. Brian's going to come over later this week. We're going to set the distributor in. I've never been able to get one of those things set in straight. But he's going to come over, get the distributor set in. And yeah, we're getting close. That wiring is going to be the main thing. So let's get on this. Let's get something done. All right, let me get my headlamp back on. That way y'all can see what I have done under here. Didn't bring you with me just because of the lack of room. As you can see, I got my K&N filter on. I filled it with oil, which since I'm going to be priming the system, I didn't really have to do that. But I also got my Jegs Pro Starter on here. This will handle up to 12 to 1 compression. I'm running 9 to 1 compression. Overkill, yes, but that starter ain't going to wear out anytime soon. So I'm tickled to have that on there. So now I just got to get the wiring run. And look at the room between it and that header. It was real easy to get up in there. So I think I want to get me my impact and tighten up those motor mounts right real quick, since I forgot to do it. Shame on me. But we'll get those done and that'll be out of the way. And next time Brian's over, I think we're going to set this thing on the ground and go ahead and get our A-frames and everything tightened up. So that's out of the way. Oh, coming together. Lots of stuff coming together. All right. I've been doing a little bit, mainly off camera, just because it's taking out of a package and bolting on. Y'all pretty much know how to do that already. So, got the master cylinder on, the brake booster. I got the pedals inside mounted. Don't that just look so much better than all that rusted metal that used to be up in there? I like that so much better. I got a new put an actual new brake pad on. The throttles still look pretty good, but I put some silicone back behind that to kind of help hold it on, because that rubber was very soft and I can see it kind of peeling off. I've got the brake system completely attached. I put brake fluid in here so the gravity can kind of help start bleeding stuff. I've got oil in the engine. I got my new dipstick put in. All I got to do is hook up the gauge, hook up the water jacket or the water temp gauge. I need to get my clamps on these hoses here. I've got my the trans heater. Now, I know you're going to say, what the heck? This is temporary. Until I can get these fenders and the inner fenders in, I do not know exactly where I'm going to be running all this. So for now, to get it running, this is what we got. And if I got to, you know, I can zip tie it up here or something like that, get it out of the way if I want to move the vehicle, which I am planning on. When this thing fires, the transmission's going to be fully hooked up. Everything is going to be done. I got the starter in. Don't know if I mentioned that to you yet or not. I got the starter in, oil filter on. But right now I'm working on the fix for this, to keep it from flopping. And I've got something over here, and I'm going to have to spend the next few days cleaning up. When you're working by yourself and you get into it, it kind of goes away. But as you see, I got one of these pads to that goes on the floor. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it, and we're going to glue it up inside this and make a deal to snug that radiator on that core. These are doing absolutely nothing. I'm going to go ahead and take these off because when I get done, it's not going to be sitting on those. And I'm thinking about taking these out and just putting something there to plug the holes, because these are doing absolutely nothing under there. So I'm going to put you on a time lapse, and I'm going to get to cutting on this, and we will see exactly how far we get. Okay, got that on. And I want to tell you, that does not move. I want to take it off in a couple of days after that glue has dried up. These I just set in there to see how they were going to look to hide the holes, and I think that's going to make it look really good and match up the rest of it. So we'll get the rest of the bolts back in then and trim it up, clean it up. But that don't look half bad. I don't really like the way this kicks up at the end, but there's really not a whole lot I can do about it. But I mean, it holds it in there really nice. So got that done. I'm just about down. See, I need to put those clamps on. I'll do that real quick. And I'm just about down to sitting down, going through the wiring, getting that done. And so I'm going to try and get the steering column in as well. I'm going to have to drill a hole to run the temp sensor and the oil line through. I'll drill me a hole and put a grommet around it, and then just fill it full of dum-dum keep it from leaking. But I want to do those right at the back of the motor. That way they're not seen in the motor compartment. Man, oh man, it's starting to look pretty. I still got to switch out the clamps on the top radiator hose, make them look a little better. But it's coming together. See what else I can do. All right. Just going to show you a little bit of what I got done here. I got the AC compressor wired up, loomed up. There's some of the wiring coming out of the Fiatech. Goes back here. Then I got AC stuff done over here. Got to wait to find out exactly how I'm going to do the starter wires. I'm thinking about doing a bigger wire from the alternator to the starter. There's several people that has recommended it, especially if you're using a lot of electronics. I'm not using that much electronics, so not really sure what I want to do. But I had several of you request that I film the priming of the engine. Well, as you can see back here, I got my oil line hooked up to the gauge, got my water line hooked up, and we got Brian here to sit in the car and watch that gauge and tell us if it's building pressure. So this is our first test, is to make sure we done what we're supposed to, Brian. So you're ready. I'm not sure I am. So I want to bring this camera up here. Get this tripod loosened up. Up we go. And I'm just going to bring it in just a little bit. There we go. And there's our hole. All right.
I might wipe a little oil on that, Mike.
Okay. Let's see here. Where's all those oil cans I used? I bet there's a little bit left in those.
Probably so. Yeah,
Whereabouts you thinking on our little deal?
I do it around that and coat it, and then I put some underneath the spinning of it. It's just more or less to make sure it spins all right.
Oh yeah. I'm going to slide this down in here. And what I'm going to do,
just take your time. You'll feel it click in, sure.
Don't like that.
What's that?
Felt like it hung.
Take your top bushing off and just kind of ease it down in there and get the bottom half done, then you can slide your bushing back down on it.
That's it right there.
Now, you put a little around that top bushing, the inner
Oh yeah.
part. Okay.
I got oil everywhere.
Well, you don't want to gald nothing. And it may not turn fast enough to gald it, but I
Okay, clockwise or counterclockwise?
What's that?
The turn.
It's clockwise.
I thought so. I was thinking that.
So you're just about ready. I go slow for a few minutes anyway. Give it time to start picking it.
All right.
And you can gradually speed up after a little bit. And you got your filter on.
Yep.
Okay. Well, we know a car idle to anywhere from 800 to 1,000
What's going on here? So as you saw, I was getting having a little problem getting oil pressure. Come to find out, our little tool that I got off of Amazon, the spot was too wide for it to slip into the oil pump shaft. So I took it apart, and Brian is trying to file it down as best he can and get it to that right point of where it'll fit right. So, as soon as we get it to where it needs to be, we'll get it back together and take two. All right, take two. Oh.
Start off slow again like we did before. Oh, turn it with your fingers.
Huh?
Did you try it? See what you got?
Yeah.
Ooh!
We getting pressure?
It jumped to 10. 10?
Hang on, let me get my fingers on this.
I think I did something right. 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 43, 45, 50, 60.
Got up to 60?
Yep.
I'd say that booger's primed, wouldn't you?
How long did they say do it?
You just pump it up till you get pressure.
60 pound. And you know how fast that thing probably turns when that engine's running?
Oh yeah,
A lot faster than that.
yeah. I figure, you know, with that
That's a high volume, ain't it?
yes.
There it is. Yeah, you're going to have oil pressure. Oh, yeah. Ooh,
So,
I feel like Tim Toolman. You're good, Bubba.
all righty. All right, everybody. We have been working, and look who showed up to help me.
Again, I'm back.
Delbert
And
Courtney. Hadn't seen Courtney in a while.
I know, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I understand. But we got some things done already, hadn't we?
Yeah, we decided not to video right away. We wanted to get some stuff done right
Well,
away. So.
okay.
And it's small stuff.
Pouring in trans fluid, meh.
And gear
Diff-
oil.
Gear
Differential,
oil, you're
yeah.
not going to get in there to where they can see what you're doing. I haven't recorded most of this week's what I've been doing, mainly because it is either so mind-numbingly dull. I mean, day before yesterday, I sat for 3.5 hours watching videos, trying to figure out how to wire this new alternator.
And you got it.
And I finally figured it out.
Only 3.5 hours?
Only 3.5 hours. 3.5 hours, I found one video that told me what to do with it.
Did we happen to say how well this exhaust looks? How beautiful it is? Just looking at it again.
Every
it's like,
time
oh my
I
God.
put this thing up in the air,
Oh.
I just gaze at it. But
Hey, can we build one for mine? For my car?
sure, it's content. Okay. Well, what we got done? We got the gear oil put in the rear end. We got the transmission fluid put in the trans. Engine oil is in. It has been primed, as you just saw. And we're going to drop this thing down.
And we got one heck of a windy day out here today.
If you can't hear. And the only thing really that is left that needs to be done is the brakes need to be bled.
That's next on our list.
That's next on our list.
And again, it's probably pretty boring, but I guess if they want to see it,
Well,
we could do something with it.
Courtney has volunteered
Hesitantly.
to get in the car and be raised up to its full potential so she can see all the dust that's in the shop. And she's going to be
She's going to get a bird's eye view.
That's right.
Literally.
And if a bird flies in, you will get a bird's eye view.
Yeah. I really hope that does not happen.
Oh, we have birds in here all the time.
Oh, yeah.
I actually caught a falcon in here one day.
No
Yeah, I had to throw a shirt over it to get it out. The door was open. It flew in, would not fly back out the open door.
Sometimes they're not too smart.
Well, I finally threw a shirt over it, took it to the house, showed it to Mom and Dad. This is when Dad was still alive. And he goes, yeah, that's a little peregrine falcon. Stepped out the back door, let it loose, flew right back in the shop. And then come back out. And I was just like, okay, you little turkey. But let's drop this thing down and get everything together, what we need. Actually, Brian is bringing more brake fluid, so
Did
we're
you
going to
show
wait
them
till
all
he
your
gets here.
looming?
Huh?
Did you show them your looming yet?
I've been showing them bits and pieces of it.
Yeah, it's looking great.
This is what I've got done for the headlights.
With all the broken bulbs, because, you know,
Yeah, I need to get all those
things
out.
Things have happened. Oh my gosh.
So you thought.
Yeah, they coming out. Oh man.
Yeah, that's what I was sitting here thinking.
Well, you ain't got no battery hooked up.
Well, we got needle nose right there.
Yeah, that's just not coming out.
But
Should have been out by now.
yeah, by the end of this week, I should have the wiring put away and done. So this first start is coming on quick. I need to get the new tie rod ends put on that one subscriber sent to me. I'll have to look up his name. I can't remember. But I've got them on the shelf, and I've just been waiting for the right opportunity. But the grease zerks come out at the bottom instead of the back.
Oh, perfect. Yeah.
So that, will give us the clearance it needs.
That's why he sent them, wasn't it?
It'll give us the clearance.
Wasn't that why he sent them? Is because you were talking about it after you put them in
Well,
months ago?
first off, the center link was bent wrong.
Right.
So I fought that. Finally, I got these in, and the straight grease zerks, you couldn't get nothing on them. So I put a 90s in it, which, that's going to work. It'll work. But he looked and found at Rock Auto the correct ones. And bottom sent them to me. So I want to get those in. And when I do it, I'm going to give him a huge shout out. Gosh, I couldn't have done this car the way it is without all the people that's helped me.
Oh, everybody. Good Lord.
And I am going to be so proud to introduce Jason S. when he gets here.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome to get to meet him in person finally.
Yep. He is one heck of a human being. But anyway.
I was down by close to where he lives, and he was so busy, and we were trying to move her, so we didn't get together that day, but
Well, darn it.
we tried.
But let's get this thing dropped down, and when Brian gets here, we'll get some brakes bled.
All right.
All right. My gosh, this thing sitting on the ground seems mighty low, doesn't it?
Oh, it looks great, though, actually.
We got the suspension all tightened up.
The temporary bumper to give us a little weight in the front.
Yep. Set it on.
And that way we could stand on it and bring it down.
Yeah, I sat down on the front of it and it dropped like a rock. But everything on the suspension is tight. Everything is full of fluids except for the radiator.
Right.
So,
Because we may have to do something with this.
yeah, I think I'll first part of this week I will look into that and see if I can find something to fit a little better.
We did attempt the brakes to get them working.
I did my vacuum deal, and you can see how much fluid it pulled through them, but yet the brakes still go to the floor.
Hope Industries. We're not sure if it's working right.
But that's what I used on the Corvette. Never could get it to work on the Corvette either. But we got fluid in the lines now.
Yes, there's definitely fluid in the
And
lines.
I'm going to
and
let-
air.
And air. And I'm going to let them sit, and then we're just going to do it the old-fashioned way. Yep, pump them down. But everything's new on it, so it ought to work.
We have the front lights wired.
Yes, front
Run
lights,
through?
front loom. You can see it sticking out right there for the lights over here.
Now, Mike, talk a little bit about why we didn't show that.
Oh, very well. I think watching
How
paint
time
dry.
consuming it is to put this loom on, and
I think watching
tape it all
paint
up.
dry would be as entertaining.
it was a lot of fun.
Well, It took me what, about an hour and a half?
Yes.
To
And that's
loom,
why that's today.
yeah, to loom this part.
Yep.
And
All the rest of he's already done.
I got my temp gauge relocated from back there by the distributor. We got the distributor in. I've got a new cap coming for it. I can't wait for y'all to see that. I think it's going to look so good on this.
It's gonna look awesome.
Got the new cap coming for that. Oil pressure hit 60 psi. You saw that in the video. And that was just with the drill. This thing at idle is going to be much faster than what that drill was going. So it's going to be
I bet it's gonna be close to 80. When you first start
70
it.
to 80, I'll bet. And it's a high volume fuel pump, 7-quart pan. And, you know, everything in there is new. And
So I'm just bringing up some of the things you talked to me about when we were off camera, and that's the wiring for the starter.
right?
You know, this is pretty ugly. We're not
Well,
gonna lie. It's
that's
pretty
the
ugly.
alternator. I am going to be replacing all that wiring because since I'm using the newer style alternator, this is putting out more juice than what that wire could handle. So I'm actually going to get a bigger wire to run from here down to the starter to charge the battery. Plus, this right here is the only wire this alternator needs, and that goes to the ignition. But it has to have a resistor in here. So I've got a resistor, should be here tomorrow. I will get that wired up, and then we can loom all this side up to make it look as pretty as that side. And then after I get the starter wire replaced and done, I'm going to loom all this. This right here is the new distributor plug. This thing did not have a tachometer on it before. So I have run a wire, put it into the loom through the electrical block.
She's sitting down here, hanging off here
Yep.
somewhere. There we go.
But that wire goes through that block into the inside to the tack. And I'm going to take my clips that this harness went through, and of course you know they're old, nasty, dirty looking. I'm going to powder coat them gloss black. So when we put them back up in under here with that loom in, it's just going to look beautiful.
Even though you won't really see them a whole lot, they'll still be somewhat visible if you really look.
Well, I mean, the thing about it is anybody can do this. I mean, it just takes time and making sure of watching what you're doing. So,
And just so everybody knows, we wire tied this so it wouldn't fall
yep.
once we
Yep.
get her started. But we needed to have the gauges so we can see the oil pressure and water temperature when it gets up there. Make sure we're getting a good heat up on it, especially if we're gonna let it run for a while to
Yeah,
let it break in a little bit.
Yeah, once we get it started and going, it needs to run for a bit. I got to get the fuel system finished up here, but I already know what I got to do. I want to make me a plate.
There's your lines.
Yeah, there's the lines. I want to make me a plate to hook on right down here, and because that's where it's going to sit when we get the inner fender and everything in. So I want to make me a plate, bolt it to it, get the lines run. Both lines come to right to my reservoir right here. Intake, return line, and that is to the unit, the throttle body itself. It only takes one line going to the throttle body. I want to take it to this point right here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to run the line back off over through here, back up, elbow it right to this. So you're just going to have a straight line coming right into that, and you're not going to see no fuel line anywhere else. So
how did we get the flywheel attached?
how do we get the flywheel
Yeah.
attached?
And talk about our little adventure with that.
Oh no, we're not going to talk about that. And if you want to know, you can message me, but there's no telling what I'm going to say.
It was not fun. We can say that. It was.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, lots of slippage of tools, and yeah, it was not fun.
Slippage of tools,
But we did have a nice piece of equipment that we were able to use to help us.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. And
That thing
we
worked
we
great.
got to try out the starter.
yes. And
Yep.
the starter sounded really, really
Yeah,
good.
got the Jeg Super Start on here, or Pro Start.
So
Jeg
basically
Pro
what,
Start.
what Mike figured out is that we had, he had got the oil pressure up, which now we have compression. So now trying to do it by hand was not going to be an option.
Yeah, we got oil in the rings, which I just thought it was hard turning yesterday. Turning it today was impossible. So, yeah, I really think this thing should have just have 9-to-1 compression, which, you know, pump gas compliant. But I think it ought to do good.
So what's the
really do.
cafe rating going to be on this?
The what?
Cafe rating.
Cafe rating?
Yeah, that's what they call them when they want your emissions right.
Oh, heck.
There isn't going to be any cafe rating on it.
No. No.
So-
But it's going to be better than most since it's got the fuel injection.
yeah, it's going to be a good, good running, nice
Good.
long running vehicle.
It's going to be able to get out on
Good
the
fuel
interstate.
mileage.
It's going to be able to get out on the interstate and keep up with the best of them.
It's probably not going to get 25 miles a gallon, but I'm thinking 18 to 20.
That's what I'm hoping for. I mean, put that thing in overdrive and hit that converter lock up and go at it.
You know, back in the old days when we had the old jets. Did I say junks? I meant
Yes, you
jets.
did.
They would just eat the gas. They really would. But you get that 2-barrel part, and then you get the 4-barrel going. It's like, oh, wow. Really watch the gas gauge go. I remember those
Yep.
days.
Tack goes this way, gas gauge goes this way.
1978 Mr. Cruiser station wagon, 350 engine, 350 turbo hydromatic. I only had it up to 126 once.
Just 126?
I was young. I was only like 16, 17 years old. So
Yeah.
first time going fast, it's like, hey, this is kind of cool.
Well, I also got to throw out a thank you to Brian and Courtney. You can see they're over there holding those chairs down. They're doing a very good job.
Yeah, but look, she provided us with a snack.
Yeah, she brought cookies. I want to show you this. Right there, she brought cookies. Which I am sure I'm going to get a lot of flack for that.
You only had a couple. It wasn't much.
Hey, Santa, come on.
Got to have a little bit. Cookies or Santa every day.
But thank y'all for joining us on this one. I know that it didn't show a lot of work in this video, but it was all very tedious, close quarters. If you have any questions on it, just message me and I'll answer back.
Now, one more thing.
What's that?
You didn't plug my channel. Sorry.
Well, I was about to.
You look like you were going to say goodbye.
Just for that, you know.
Everything
No.
changes 23.
Don't go to Everything Changes 23. And don't send him bad comments.
I have gotten a few comments lately, but not very many.
Well,
So I'd love to see some comments so I have some comments to answer. Give me some incentive to go do something. I have some plans I'm working on. I've already talked to Santa about them, and he's given me some other ideas. So we're going to try some things and see if it works.
well, the thing about it is comments, the like button, all of that helps the algorithm of any channel. And so please, go to his channel, like, share, comment, and do the same for me as well. And we will see you next time on Santa's Workshop.